Today on Investigate TV Plus, the obstacle to voting 1 in 5 Americans could face. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. We uncover its possible impact on recent elections and speak with those looking to make a change.
I know it's a form of voter suppression. I don't feel like it. I know it is.
Police canines deployed to find drugs and missing children, but their use during arrests comes into question.
Well, it's very important. We got to teach a dog to where the dog's going to engage a person.
We dig into the number of incidents and why one state is considering restrictions on their use.
Plus, con artists collecting thousands of dollars off luxury liquor.
Bourbon and even tequila now are the 2 hottest spirits in the United States.
We'll show you ways to spot a fake bottle.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. Millions of people in the U.S. face literacy challenges, and when Election Day comes, the voting booth can be intimidating.
Reporter Carice Jackman teamed up with ProPublica to investigate the problem and find potential solutions for those who struggle to understand the ballot.
This is my daughter.
78-year-old Faye Combs is proud of her life. She's a wife, a mother. But for decades, she's lived with a secret she kept from the one she loved.
I was married 7 years before he even knew I couldn't even read or write.
It wasn't until Faye was 40 years old that she finally got a tutor.
I talked to this lady. I didn't know this lady, had never met her, but I just poured out my story because I was desperate. I really wanted to be better and do better.
Faye says one of the many problems she faced as she struggled with reading was voting. She says it was hard finding the strength to not only say, I can't read, but to also reach out for help and understand what's on the ballot.
I always had the fear when I was in the booth was that I would be in there for a long time.
Faye isn't alone. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, 1 in 5 Americans struggles to read English at a basic level. The question is, how does that impact participation in elections? Our partners at ProPublica analyzed voter participation and literacy data for more than 3,000 counties across the U.S. and found areas with lower estimated literacy rates tend to also have lower voter turnouts. In fact, according to their analysis, if low literacy counties had similar turnout rates to high literacy counties in 2016, 18, and 2020, they could have added up to about 7 million votes nationally each year. And while there are many factors that play into whether a person votes, including transportation and the ability to get time off work, ProPublica found that increased participation in low literacy counties could have the power to swing close races.
The ultimate test is, what is society doing to make it better, to fix it?
Olivia Coley-Pearson's not only a city commissioner in rural Georgia, she's a voting rights advocate.
What are you hearing from people when they say they're nervous about voting or they are apprehensive about going to vote and they can't read or write?
They feel like society shuns or look down on people who can't adequately read and write.
Throughout our nation's history, literacy and the right to vote have been used as tools for discrimination. During the Jim Crow era, states and counties across the South created restrictions like literacy tests to make it difficult for African Americans to vote. Federal law allows voting assistance for people who are blind, disabled, and who are unable to read. But Coley-Pearson says roadblocks at the polls still linger.
And it seems to me like a lot of the people are trying to keep the illiterate people from being able to vote by making laws more stricter.
In a 2001 case, the Federal Justice Department claimed white poll managers in Charleston County, South Carolina, were intimidating black voters who requested assistance. A federal judge ultimately found there was significant evidence of intimidation and harassment, but said the mistreatment was too anecdotal to take direct action.
Give it up for Coffee County!
It's issues like these, Olivia Coley-Pearson says, she's battled time and time again.
Do you feel like it's a form of voter suppression?
I know it's a form of voter suppression. I don't feel like it. I know it is.
Advocates say in order for the voting experience to improve for voters who struggle to read, Ballots need to be more accessible.
Maybe you don't have to say amend the Constitution. You could say change the Constitution or change a law. Being conscious of writing so that people who don't read well can understand it.
Whitney Quisenberry and her colleagues at the Center for Civic Design have assisted numerous states, working with local election officials to create materials to help Americans with reading challenges understand the voting process. She says when state and local voting changes are made, it's important for agencies and election officials to spread the word, going to areas which may not have the resources to get the information. Combs now travels the nation, speaking with lawmakers about why it's so important to reach out and listen to those who struggle with reading and writing.
Everybody doesn't have a computer. Oh, you can do it, it's easy. No, it is not easy. If you don't know how to, it's intimidating.
She also shares her story with those battling the same fight she eventually won, letting them know no matter what their reading comprehension is, they too have the right to read and to vote.
In the wake of the 2020 election, several states passed new voting restrictions.
While all do not target voters who struggle to read, the measures can make it challenging for voters with low literacy skills to get help casting ballots.
Florida expanded the area around election locations, prohibiting volunteers from asking people if they need help, while Georgia passed a law limiting who can return or even touch a completed absentee ballot. If you need help at the polls, you can call the Nonpartisan Election Protection Hotline at 1-866-OUR-VOTE. Coalition members can connect you with resources in your area.
You can also find a voter accessibility guide and more on our investigation on InvestigateTV.com.
Still ahead, a serving of kindness. Meet a cafeteria employee inspiring students one meal at a time.
Hello, Miss Johnson.
Hello, my love.
She's the most sweethearted person you'll ever meet.
But first,
Oh, I know, good boy.
police dogs play a vital role within law enforcement, but incidents involving canines send thousands of people to the hospital every year. We investigate who's getting injured, plus an in-depth look at how some of these working dogs are trained.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes.
According to the news organization The Marshall Project, there are about 15,000 canines employed by law enforcement agencies across the U.S., but some of their tactics have drawn concern.
The nonprofit analyzed bites by police dogs from 2017 to 2019 and found most of the victims were unarmed, suspected of nonviolent crimes, and in some cities, disproportionately Black.
Reporter Lauren Traeger explores the controversy around their use and has an up-close look at their training near St. Louis.
Zeus, he only does tracking. That's the only thing he does.
Jefferson County Sheriff's Deputy Derek Richards says Zeus is the department's only floppy-eared dog.
He is a people puppy. Yep, there's not a mean bone in his body. Find him.
More agencies are getting them now. They don't only track suspects, but missing children or seniors. Fellow Officer Morrow, more multi-purpose. His nose hunts drugs.
With the opioid crisis going on, the narcotic dogs are very important.
Master trainer Jeffco Deputy Anthony Burkhardt loves working with canines, has for nearly 3 decades. And he's the alpha.
Oh, boy, all right. Suspect, come out of the room! They're like one of your kids. You're the pack leader to them.
It's constant training.
Every single day, there's training.
Every single day. Here, Platz.
Burkhardt says Morrow knows when it's time to work. His very presence, he says, a deterrent.
If you've ever been bit by a dog, it's not pleasant. So it does get like a little of a fear factor being bit by a dog.
Come out, I'm gonna send the dog!
But it's just that role of canines to apprehend that's more recently raising questions.
Get on the ground!
A proposed California bill would ban them from effecting arrests, claiming the dogs are disproportionately used on Black people.
Stop fighting the dog!
The DOJ report in Ferguson from a few years ago also noted that in every canine bite incident for which racial information was available, the person bitten was African American. Nationally, there's been headline-making stories of wrongful bites. Thousands of people are sent to emergency rooms for police dog bites every year, according to a recent study published in the Journal of Forensic and Legal Medicine. Experts say use of canines can vary widely by department, and some feel there's a lack of regulations nationwide.
Let's go find them. And these are trained dogs. Oh boy. They're not trained to just go up and attack someone.
How important is that training to get actually people in the suits doing this?
Well, it's very important. We got to teach a dog to where the dog's going to engage a person.
So to see what it's like, I geared up in a bite suit.
Here goes nothing.
Burkhart gives clear commands.
Jeff County Sheriff's Office, come back, I'm sending a dog!
No! When I ignore them, Morrow gets the go-ahead.
Yes!
No!
Fucking! Oh boy!
With another command, Morrow is off me. For me, it's a rush of adrenaline.
That is all kinds of intense.
Knowing when and how to utilize canines, which ones, and in what scenarios,
Come on, with the hands up!
Burkhart says, is all just one of their many tools of modern-day policing.
That California bill was ordered inactive in May of 2023, but could still be put back up for consideration at a later date.
Still to come, experts say beware of bogus booze.
It gives the industry a black eye.
We'll show you how to avoid getting scammed into paying top dollar for cheap spirits. Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms.
According to the Distilled Spirit Council, liquor is in high demand.
Bourbon and even tequila now are the two hottest spirits in the United States.
In 2022, spirit supplier revenues just barely surpassed beer for the first time, and the council believes that growth is fueled by the resurgence of the cocktail culture and the popularity of ready-to-drink concoctions.
More than 60% of the revenue in the U.S. spirit sector came from the sales of high-end and premium spirits, mainly led by tequila and whiskey, which tend to fetch a higher cost and make collectors a target for con artists.
Reporter Jen Pachano shows us how Cleveland area collectors got scammed and highlights the red flags you need to know.
Everybody wants it. Everybody will do whatever they can to get their favorite.
Eric Buchholz holds a title as rare as some of the bourbons he pours as the bar and beverage manager at Lanning's Restaurant. He's an executive bourbon steward. The pin he wears like a badge means he values the integrity of what he buys and sells to customers there.
I have tremendous respect for what distillers do, knowing the process, knowing what is involved. They spend a lot of time and a lot of effort in making sure that their product is the way they want it.
But he knows not everything on the market is really what they say it is.
It gives the industry a black eye.
In 2020, an elderly Cleveland area man lost over $300,000 in a rare wine and whiskey investment scheme. In 2022, there were also reports of illegal pyramid schemes targeting wine aficionados, as well as consumers being sold diluted or counterfeit whiskey. More recently, the Better Business Bureau was contacted by another Ohio man who attempted to purchase a bottle of Weller 12-year bourbon on a website called whiskeysandbourbons.com. The bottle normally retails for $250, but was listed for $100.
He paid through Zelle for his product, and of course then the scammer was gone.
The bargain spirits shopper realized the scammer even created a fake shipping company, asking him to make an additional $200 payment for insurance, then another $100 for delivery, then another $200 for insurance to pay for the bottle they supposedly broke. Buchholz said other scammers are shipping fake booze.
It's just colored water.
And other victims are getting empty bottles sent in unmarked boxes.
We're finding consumers are getting caught up in situations where they think they're buying this rare bottle of whiskey or whatever, and it's not what they think it is, or they pay money and don't get their products.
Erica Dilworth with the BBB says there are some clear red flags for consumers.
If generally the cost of that rare bottle is $300, and all of a sudden you're seeing it on a website that just popped up and they're willing to sell it to you for $100, that's when absolutely you need to do your homework.
Dilworth says the website whois.com can help answer some questions like how long has the seller's website been around?
We did look at the website. The website had only been registered, I think, since 9/22, and you got to take a step back.
Buchholz says check with other collectors to see if others have left positive reviews for the broker you're shopping with. And if you're asked to pay with cash apps or transfers, things other than a credit card, you're also putting yourself at risk because you can't get your money back if you're scammed. Dilworth says the company's form of communication or accessibility is a good clue, too.
I know that we called the company, and it was answered by a generic, one of those Google accounts, and that should be concerning to you, too. Because if you call and you can't get a hold of someone, and it's just this robotic answering machine, those are all clues.
If you know what to look for, you can actually confirm that you got what you paid for. Some labels, like Blanton's, actually leave kind of Easter eggs on their bottles.
There are 8 different horses, and there's a letter that will spell out the name Blanton's.
A fake, empty bottle his friend was sent by a scammer had a plastic horse on top. The real deal has bronze.
And the label was done on a copier. You can tell by the quality of the label.
Because some of these losses are probably only a couple $100s, Dilworth believes the scope of these scams is far larger than the reports they're getting indicate.
We really believe that it's the tip of the iceberg. So if we're starting to hear a little bit about people doing this, then we know that there's many more people out there.
If you feel you've been scammed in a similar manner, you can file a complaint with the Better Business Bureau. There's a button on the home screen. You'll also find a scam tracker a little bit further down on the page. You can search through complaints to see if the product you're considering is legitimate.
Next on Investigate TV Plus, a conversation across the counter.
How you doing, love?
Just as fulfilling as the meals on their plates.
Students share how a school employee inspires them long past lunchtime.
She might think she flies under the radar or something like that, but we all appreciate her greatness.
I'm Viv Williams with a medical myth-buster moment. Myth: you're more likely to be struck by lightning than die of a snake bite in the U.S. That myth is true, but it's tricky. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention crunched numbers from the National Weather Service, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and other research. Those numbers show that many more people are bitten by snakes each year than hit by lightning. 7,000 to 8,000 snake bites versus approximately 300 lightning strikes. But only an estimated 5 snake bite victims die, compared to an estimated 20 deaths from lightning. So yes, you're more likely to get struck by lightning than die of a snake bite, but you're way more likely to get a snake bite than struck by lightning in the first place. Check out the CDC's website for info on how to avoid both rare but dangerous situations. With this medical mythbuster, I'm Viv Williams.
A smile, a friendly comment, or a small gesture can make a difference in someone's day because you never know what they're going through.
As Ashley Hendrick shows us, it's one of the reasons a cafeteria worker at a high school in Richmond, Virginia, is serving up daily helpings of kindness.
Inside this cafeteria,
Robbie, turkey sandwich.
a warm smile is always on the menu.
Hello, my love.
She's the most sweethearted person you'll ever meet.
Here at Benedictine College Prep, these cadets can't wait for lunchtime. Not just to eat.
How you doing, love?
But to simply talk.
You got a turkey sandwich and apple?
With Mrs. Johnson.
I love you so much.
She might think she flies under the radar or something like that, but we all appreciate her greatness and her kindness.
Yeah, Freddie got a turkey sandwich?
She may be small in stature, but her heart couldn't be bigger. So big, parents have noticed.
Over the years, I've heard all the just countless acts of kindness that she does for everyone, and they mean the world to these kids.
Including Sheila Adair's son, Jacob, a junior at the Catholic Military School.
She can tell when you're having a bad day, and she'll pull you aside and she'll talk to you about it and just make sure you're doing all right.
Jacob says Mrs. Johnson hasn't missed a day since he started. For 6 years now, she's come from behind the lunch counter to serve something more fulfilling, mentorship.
It is amazing. It's just a comfort that someone cares so much about our kids.
You see, I'm a very emotional person, but I love them like my own.
While she loves the girls at the sister school, St. Gertrude, she argues the boys have really stolen her heart.
They always say, Miss Johnson, are you coming to the game? If I don't have to work my other job, I'll say, yeah, I'm going to come and support you.
Mrs. Johnson spends most evenings at Kohl's, working her second job. But clocking in here doesn't feel like work, she says, while making rounds to see her students.
How you doing today? I just try to spend the special moments with them, because you never know what might be going on different outside of school.
Ms. Johnson, on behalf of the Corps, thank you for everything you've done for us, and I really appreciate it, and all of us do. So.
Thank you. I appreciate you too.
Small servings of kindness.
I love all of y'all. I love all of y'all.
Making a big difference in their lives.
And that was such a heartwarming story. You never know how each person, as you go through your day, affects someone.
It shows you can touch anyone and make a difference in anyone's life, and she's making a difference in so many kids' lives. It's inspiring, it really is.
Happy to see her doing that. Well, that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Thanks for watching. Next time on Investigate TV Plus, deaths ruled undetermined. Our investigation reveals some are homicides.
What kind of impact can this have on a community of getting the manner of death incorrect?
If it's a homicide and you're missing a homicide, then obviously someone is out there who could do it again.
One woman's fight for justice after she says her brother was murdered.